Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here to an updated moveset guide for Blaziken in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So in this, we're going to be looking at regular Blaziken as well as the newly released Mega Blaziken, because both of them do have some changes to talk about in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So in the 7th generation, with the introduction of Z moves, Blaziken has gotten a really crazy buff because it can use the Z Mirror move to then gain a +2 on the attack. So what we used to see is just Swords Dance, that you can just run Blaziken, Protect, Swords Dance with a Focus Sash, Survive, and then like one-shot everything on the high jump kick. And if you're going for the Swords Dance, then we'll see something like the Blaze Kick as well. And then we just use overwhelming amounts of damage and speed to just destroy an opponent. Well, with the Z Mirror move, it does a few weird things for the Blaziken. That means that you're pretty much forced to running that Protect, but a lot of Blaziken are doing that anyways. Protect, get the speed boost, you're now faster than everything, and if they use an offensive damaging move, then you just Z Mirror move it. So you get to get +2 on the attack. You copy their move. If it's a physical move, it becomes the Z form of that move, and that's a very high chance to KO the opponent. So you can start the snowball early on the Blaziken and not waste a turn on Swords Dance setup, and then you just Flare Blitz, high jump kick until you win the game. That's one thing that Blaziken is capable of. Now, looking at its defensive breakdown, it does have 80-77. So it's your average sweeping Pokemon, and it does have quite a bit of weaknesses that it has to deal with. We have flying, psychic, water, ground. So there are a couple of things that can just nuke out the Blaziken, which is also why we see a large amount of Focus Sash if we're not going for the Flyinium Z on the Blaziken. Now, when we look at Mega Blaziken, it might be one of the most straightforward Mega Pokemon in the entire game, because it's effectively a Blaziken without an item, but buff stats. So if we get rid of like the Focus Sash, if we get rid of the Life Orb, if we get rid of the Flyinium Z, it's going to be effectively the same moveset, playstyle, and everything like that, except it's slightly faster, slightly bulkier, and then gets about the same amount of damage as a Life Orb. So really, there's not too many changes from seeing the Mega Blaziken, except they just get to run up and do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time, without as much risk, or without having to worry about a Focus Sash or anything. And as for the Mega Evolution change in the 7th generation, I don't think it affected Blaziken really at all, because you're going to Protect on that first turn. So you Protect Mega Evolve, now you're 100 base speed Pokemon, because you need that speed boost first. And there's not going to be too many situations where Blaziken's going to be like, oh good, I get to speed tie a 100 base speed Pokemon, and then just take the risk on damage. So it's not like because of the Mega Evolution change, you're not forced into running Protect. So you should use it while you have the chance. And other than that, it's damage and potential setup just like the Blaziken. So I actually feel like that Mega Blaziken is one of the least changed, and also not like the super most needed Mega Evolution ever. That if you're already running Blaziken, that's a powerful enough Pokemon. You can also be a lot more diverse on the Blaziken. If they don't see a Mega Blaziken, then they have to wonder, is it Focus Sash? Is it Life Orb? Am I going to get Z Mirror moved? It kind of leaves more of a guessing game to not have the Mega Evolution, because Mega Blaziken, it's just going to do one thing, and that's hit things slightly harder and not really be too much more difficult to deal with, because alright, it's already an untouchable amount of speed. It doesn't gain any notable defenses that make it any harder to deal with. So yeah, when we look at it, you only get one Mega Evolution in the battle, and that could better be applied to just another Mega Pokemon as we start to get more and more of the Mega Stones available, and then we can also use our one and only Z move with the regular Blaziken. Now, breaking down what we see on the Pokemon Global Link usage for Blaziken right now, this does not include Mega, so we can see how this will change over time, but we see a high amount of the Flyinium Z. Now, this is mostly just because you want a massive nuke. That if you're going up against a bulkier Pokemon, or Blaziken just gets the natural outspeed, you just go Z move into absolute destruction. Now you're getting a speed boost on top of a KO, and then you can take it further from there. Then after that, we can see usage is going to be Life Orb, Focus Sash. Rockium Z is mostly for like very specific tech and coverage, same with all these other moves that we see right here. The Grassium Z is going to be on special Blaziken, because Blaziken gets access to the Solar Beam. So by using Grassium Z, Solar Beam doesn't have the 2-turn charge, and you get a high amount of base power. So special Blaziken is also something that's getting a decent amount of usage, mostly because it has a good amount of special attack. That we have a 110 special attack, and we can do very big damage on the overheat. That's kind of the idea, that you can use the speed boost into Solar Beam and nuke something out. You can use overheat, and that's what the Flyinium Z is also for. That we'll see either Flare Blitz, no recoil, overheat, no drop on the special attack, and sometimes even mix Blaziken as an option. So going back to Pokemon Global Link and looking at the moves, as we can see, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be running that Protect, and then it's high jump kick, Flare Blitz, Swords Dance. So we do have the setup potential there, and then Baton Pass. So one thing you can do on Blaziken or Mega Blaziken is just Baton Pass. If you're using Bulk Up a Swords Dance and then you get some speed boosts in there, it could just be worth to go for the Baton Pass and then give those stats to another Pokemon, because Blaziken, while I won't say it can be easily walled, it is going to be a very predictable stab Pokemon, and you can deal with it with some really solid defensive tanking. So with the Protect, it only leaves you with 3 moves, and even if you're running Baton Pass, it only gives you 2 moves. However, if we're looking at recoil from Flare Blitz or something and Blaziken just can't deal with the Pokemon in front of it, it's good to have an out and then preserve all of those crazy stats that the Blaziken has gotten for itself, and then Hidden Power, so we see some Stone Edge, that's where the Rocky MZ comes in. So Blaziken's kind of all over the place right now, and it's a very hard to predict Pokemon. I think that that's best off just for the regular Blaziken. That Mega Evolution, it's kind of a little easier to see what it's going to do instead of like all this crazy special mix-up, Life Orb, Focus Sash shenanigans, and it's still a pretty powerful and tricky Pokemon to deal with at times. Looking at some of the moveset stuff, this is why we'll see people kind of give up the Protect in some situations. That if you know you're going to be leading Blaziken into potential setup, or sometimes they'll just go for setup anticipating you going for a Protect, and then they're going to try to take something free and just blow them up on damage. There's some weird counterplay and mind games around it, and then the actual like moveset for Blaziken is going to be pretty solid. So you can go with the double stab, or you can just kind of take the high jump kick, take the highest damage option you have, and then follow it up with an Earthquake. Well, now that Gengar can be hit by ground type moves since it lost its Levitate, use Earthquake against it. Use Earthquake against Toxapex. You can also see that Stone Edge is going to be really good for a flying Pokemon and other Pokemon that are common in the meta. It isn't like electric and ice kind of crazy coverage, but we find ways of making it work, and then it's still going to be kind of hard to predict the Blaziken. It gets access to the Poison Jab, just in case there's a Fairy type Pokemon running around. Use Swords Dance, and then you kind of do whatever with whatever moveset you feel will get the job done, and then that's going to be kind of it on the Blaziken. As for damage calculations, really not much to talk about because it's a 120 base attack Pokemon that's using high amounts of base power moves, so it is going to do a lot of damage. Also super effective in coverage on Swords Dance or potential bulk up. That's going to make things a bit more complicated. And even with the Blaziken, you know, it can run that bulk up, which could lead to an extra little bit of shenanigans if it like tanks out a physical hit. And +1 is still going to get the job done. But overall, raw damage, let's take the Jolly Life Orb on the regular Blaziken, and that's just going to be Flare Blitz, you know. Flare Blitz, one-shotting Tapu Koko, you get the speed boost in there, you outspeed the Tapu Koko. So yeah, just protect Flare Blitz, Koko dies. That's kind of the breakdown right here. Now, the interesting thing about the Mega Blaziken is that it does get enough of an attack boost, and you can run the Adamant Nature. So pretty much what we're doing is we're trading the speed. That way we can get rid of the Jolly and go into Adamant. So this speed effectively just becomes 10 more into our attack. Because as you can see right here, 100 base speed Adamant Nature is going to be 152 on the speed. But Jolly is only going to be 145. So we're still faster, still doing more damage. And then that's still going to just secure KOs onto Pokemon like the Tapu Koko. So this is the average range that we're looking at. Around 75 hit points, defenses, average sweeping Pokemon. That's the thing about Blaziken. It uses Protect and now becomes faster than all of them. So it just gets to nuke them however it feels it needs to. If there's a Swords Dance, the damage numbers double. If there's super effective hits or anything like that, you can still find a lot of things to work for it. So there we go, guys. Quick little update on the Blaziken. Effectively the same, except it's getting more Z usage, so you can use Z moves now and just like get a big nuke just in case Blaziken didn't have the damage. But if you do use a Z move, you are losing out of Life Orb or potential Focus Sash shenanigans, so it could make your Blaziken more vulnerable. And the reason why you want to use that Z move is this: if they have 1 or 2 threats. You know, if they don't have a lot to deal with the Blaziken and you use Z move to remove it, well then it was worth it. But if your Blaziken would have been better off over the long game with like a Focus Sash or a Life Orb or something, then the Z move can kind of backfire. Either way, a lot of usage, and the Mega Stone doesn't really change too much. So there we go, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Pokemon traders like. Today we're going to be playing everybody's favorite game show, Can You Live It? Today we'll be playing Carnivine, the most broken Pokemon. I'm sorry, we're going to be playing Mega Blaziken, the most broken Pokemon in the game. Can I get an applause, please? Okay, let's go. Yes, it is the game show, Can You Live It? We finally got greenlighted after a whole month of pitching this to YouTube. Today's sponsors are nobody. We need sponsors really badly, please. Anything will do. I really don't care what it is. Okay, Gliscor, you're already half dead, but we're gonna see, can you live the next attack? And no, Blaziken, finally gets a kill after so many attempts. We're gonna give you a few points, Blaziken. They don't mean anything. They really don't. Okay, Cresselia, you're now the second contestant once again on Can You Kill My Blaziken? Wow, this just keeps happening. Wow, this is great. This is really great. Okay, so all we have to do is just hit this thing with the Flare Blitz, and then we win the game. Oh my God, we actually live with 1 health. I didn't even expect that. We're live too. Oh my gosh, and then we take out the Caesar. He couldn't live it. He really couldn't. It's like 100 to 0. That'd be really crazy if this is actually the show 100, the hit show 100 to 0. I would really like to be on that show. That's a great show to be on. But we still eventually die, actually. Wow. Wow. Okay, Blaziken, this Pokemon is the same type as you. If you can kill it, you get... Oh, wow. You really couldn't kill it, huh? Crazy. That is pretty crazy. So wait, we finally got a sponsor? Who was it? Ace Trainer Troy? Who the hell is that? I'd never heard of that guy. What's he gonna sponsor? Like $5? Well, what? How many subscribers does he have? Only 2,301? That's nothing. That's really nothing. What are we gonna do with that? Our last contestant of the day is a mirror match. Another Mega Blaziken. Mega Blaziken over there. Can you live this next attack? No, you can't. Sorry, try again next time on 100 to 0. I mean, can you live it? Yes, not 100 to 0. We're still a TV show for now. Yes, thanks to the power of editing, we won the match. That was a great game, I gotta say. Wait, what do you mean we got canceled? We didn't even do 1 episode, let alone a whole season. I thought we had a season. Come on, Jim. Wait, who replaced us? That show? That show replaced us? You gotta be kidding me. That was one of the worst YouTube channels on YouTube I've ever seen, ever. How the heck is that show airing right now when we should...
You know what? F Smogon. F all of their f***ing ideas where they think they're so f***ing cool and they can just ban whatever they want. Blaziken, like this video is going to get hated on because of Blaziken, because all those f***ing people over at Smogon think they're better than everyone else. Just f*** all that.